You are the cap for whatever goes on in your store, in your company, in your district, in your household. However excited you are, what you believe is possible, whatever that threshold is. This is a question that we have not talked about, but it comes up in almost every episode, especially when it's couples or entrepreneurs, is how much would you say your success has been tied to the fact that you found the right spouse?
I mean, I think that it's absolutely imperative that you're finding the right spouse to support you, right? Mm-hmm. And creating life and creating a family is important to be able to have a solid foundation to build upon, right? Yeah. And I think, I can't commend my spouse Kayla enough to be able to support me and my crazy ideas and my crazy, my high energy and high, mental capacity, we'll call it. And I never thought we'd be where we're at, and I'm fortunate that we are. And I can't. Yeah, that's 100%. We wouldn't be able to build anything without that foundation.
Well, I think we're both lucky in that regard because my wife will tell you I'm too much. And mine is, Emily is just steady, and right. I think Kayla's very much the same for you.
Absolutely.
And it's that balance, right?
Yep. She's the cool, calm, and collected. I'm the highly motivated, move, go, ask questions later. Yeah. Make it happen.
Yeah. So that's all. I think too, and like we talked about, this comes up in almost every episode. You had backing from your spouse, in that you were supporting him making a big change. And also, when you were growing a clinic, he was supporting you. And so you guys are supporting each other.
Definitely reciprocated, yeah.
And so, in your opinion, you guys have been together, 20 years, right at it?
Just celebrated our 20th anniversary. Well,
congratulations. That's fantastic. And you've got two great kids.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
We Branch and Castle hang out all the time. Mm-hmm. How impactful to your life, or how much of your success do you think is attributed to the fact that you got the right spouse, that you picked correctly, and you were supporting each other?
Do you want to answer this?
Well, I just want to point out, I don't think it's necessarily the success of the businesses. I think it's led to my happiness. Like, if I didn't have the right spouse, I see what some of these couples go through. And we even say to each other, like, oh, thank God. Mm-hmm. I'm happy. I hope she's happy. But, God, entering the dating scene again or something like that.
Well, sex is important, mm-hmm. and we prioritize that in our life.
Hey, it's part of it, really.
And, I think that we have two businesses, but making our marriage a priority is something we said at the beginning. We said that we didn't want to be in business together if it meant that it was going to compromise our marriage. So we always make it a priority to set time aside for ourselves.
And she's better at than I am, but she'll be like, no, you're spending time with me today. And thank God she does, because that's how it works.
That's good. Let's pay attention to this. It is just incredibly impactful for your life. Bob, how important is it to have the right partner, to have the right spouse that supports you, that you live this life with all the way?
It's everything for me. I can speak on that. Going back to what I said was a difficult answer, mm-hmm. was to talk about some of the thoughts that I was dealt, growing up, mm-hmm. and the fact that it's not for us, it's not going to happen, and kind of pigeonholing thinking. Mm-hmm. My sister worked in a salon, and I came home for a free haircut, and there was this new girl in the salon, and I asked my sister who this new girl was, and if you could ask her if she was busy, because I think I want to meet her and see if she'll cut my hair for me. And I met this girl named Stacy, and we went on a date the next night, and it changed my life. She's been such a great support. The first thing she said to me is like, you throw this ball amazing, and why haven't you done more in the sport? And I'm like, wait, what? No one had ever quite said it to me like that. And her belief in me, in all things sense, and following whatever path I was taking, and believing in that and supporting that has been amazing. And it's not easy to find someone like that. She has supported me from day one. The other is she gave me purpose. We had a family, and that never let me say I quit, right? Because it was having that whole, package that you needed to drive you,
Right.
because you couldn't give up. You had to keep going. You had to keep going and work harder. But she always supported that. And she, in fact, would be like, "What are you doing today?" I'm like, "Well, I thought I'd take the kids." "Well, don't you have to practice?" No, you go practice first. We'll be okay. We'll wait till you get back. And, I had a pretty strong regimen as far as how much time I put into it. And she didn't want that to change. Even when I became comfortable on tour and made quite a bit more money, she's like, "No, that's what got you there. You can't now just kick back and go, I made it, because you're going to fall right back." So she saw that, and she made me work harder than, I wanted to, simply because I wanted to be with my family more. And she understood that, but she said, "No, you're doing this for us. You're going out there and you're doing this for us. So you are taking care of your family."
Yeah. And again, I think it goes right back to kind of the mission of the Charge Forward podcast is people who don't give up. Like, I think you said it perfectly. You said you couldn't imagine giving up, but you also don't know how to win, and I think that's a wonderful spirit and thing to have. And so many people just default to giving up. Like, it's like they're looking for the signs to tell them that they're supposed to give up.
Yeah.
Instead of looking for that one thread that says, no, hang on, you're going to get there.
Yeah, I like to call that the self-fulfilling prophecy. You have already decided that it's going to be a reality, so anything you can think of or any excuse that you see and you're like, oh, that's it. That's the reason why I have to give up. So being aware of that's kind of important. And then, not that I want to give Steve an even bigger head than he has, but there's plenty of times early on in my life that I was not a charge forward person. I had the drive, but the fear of failure was just too much to persevere. And if I didn't know how to get there, I would just be like, I can't do it. I got to quit. And then, Steve, what's your favorite saying?
Don't self-select.
Don't self-select. I wanted to go to Pathfinder school. It was an option for me, not an option for many women, and not an option with medical service officers very often. It's applicable, but it's a big deal.
Yeah.
In the Army, it's a big deal. Pathfinders are very cool. And I wanted to do it, and I was feeling really nervous, and like I couldn't do it, and I just couldn't keep up. I couldn't, with the image that I had created of people that had made that. And Steve was like, don't self-select. You're going to fail if you don't do it. And as soon as he said that, like, again, there's a few light switch moments in my life, and that was one. And since then, anytime I start feeling discouraged or feeling like I need to take a step back, or I can't just keep pushing, I'm like, well, of course, if I give up, I'm going to fail. And that's enough to be like, you might win, though. And that's more powerful than the fear of failure. Because what happens if you succeed? What does that look like? I mean, our life is, there's hard things, but our life is amazing. And we have worked so hard for where we are. We have foregone a lot for where we are. But if I had given up, like, how dark would it have been? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you'd have known that you gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many more times would I quit on myself? Like, that's not worth it.
Surrounding yourself with people who think that same way.
Absolutely. Proximity is everything, man.
Especially at home. Now, you've got one heck of a support system. Tell me a little bit about the family.
My wife's the true superstar. The joke is, but it's the truth. My mom and grandmothers did a great job of raising me, but they got me to a certain point, and my wife had to finish the job. She's incredible. And raising two kids with her is the gift of a lifetime. It's by far the greatest thing that God ever gave us, besides Jesus, was our kids. And my wife is, she's that, growing up, the most beautiful women, a lot of times they came with some baggage. Maybe they thought too much of themselves, or they just didn't have that kind, big, sweet heart, or at least they didn't put that out there, And I think about that movie, The Mean Girls, My wife's the exact opposite of that. She's just an absolute knockout, but she has the big heart and is the exact opposite of like the mean girl syndrome. You know what I mean? So raising kids with her, and our son is a exact replica of her. Our daughter is an exact replica of me. And just teaching them, you know, it's so hard not to want to do everything for them when actually your job is to, as a parent, is to prepare them for life. And you can't prepare them by anything by doing it for them, you know. So on one hand, you want to do nice things for them and give them everything, but the thing you should give them is the knowledge, so that they can get hit less when they grow up on their own and they're out, and you know, so that way life's going to knock you down. But man, if you're prepared for that punch and you can brace for it, it doesn't knock you back as far, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love it. So, and to kind of paint the picture for everybody out here, so you started as a coach.
Yeah, a football team.
And then you've progressed in your career, but also we added some family along the way.
Absolutely.
You got 2 rock star kids.
Thank you.
We got Jack on the MTSU basketball team.
Basketball team, yep.
And then we got MB is on the dance team.
I love that you know these things, man. It gives me chills, man. I mean, yeah, little MB, man. She's you got to watch out for her, man. She's the one that she'll slap you. Just, I mean, if you come across her the wrong way, man, she is coming at you. Both those kids, I told Jack from a very early age, I said, I am going to treat you like an adult. And along the way, we're probably going to have a relationship that most fathers and sons wouldn't have. Mm-hmm. But I promise you, when I hand the baton off to you, you will be able to run the race in ways that nobody else can. And as I sit here before you in the HIT lab at 52, and Jack is 22, and watched what he's done at MTSU, and I would have never guessed in a million years that both my kids would have gone to MTSU. It was not the story that I was telling myself. And what's so cool is I get to go out, to your point, I get to go out and I get to watch my son be part of a team. Learn how to use adversity to accelerate growth. Get specialized coaching. What's rule number 1 of talent development? Get around people better than you. Mm-hmm. What's rule number 2? Become better than them in the ways that you're uniquely gifted. What's rule number 3? Make the pie bigger. What's rule number 4? Make the pie so big you can start the bakery. And I see that happening for them, and I love it. It's what I saw for them from a very early age, for both of them. And MB has found this little home in dance, and she's out there on the field. And I know we're going to talk about health, and she's part of that story as well. But they're thriving, man. Jack's getting a degree in finance, which, good Lord, I know I couldn't even pass the first class in finance. And MB is doing social media, mm-hmm. electronic media, and they're thriving and they're happy. And I get them here with me during this stage of life.
And it's exactly what you wish for them, right?
Absolutely.
For them to be happy, for them to be thriving.
Yes.
And so hats off to both of them. As parents, it's our job to build the foundation, but it's up to them what they do with it. Well, and both of you have expressed just how supportive your spouses are. And so I think that's a big piece to this. And, most people, this was not by design, but most people that end up sitting in this podcast studio and coming on the show will agree that who you pick as your partner in this world, in this life, your spouse, is probably, and I say probably because I really want to say is, but we'll leave a little bit out there for some people, as the biggest decision that you will make, the most important decision you will make on the trajectory of your life.
Mm-hmm. I mean, having done it wrong the first time, I can tell you that when you're with the wrong person, it makes life a lot harder. And then when you're with someone that's supportive and kind and wonderful, it makes life so much easier.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be able to do it without the support of my husband, my family, my sister. I wouldn't have ever taken that leap. And your spouse has to be 100% with you, because when you start a business, you're giving it everything.
Absolutely.
Your finances, your house, yourself, everything that you own, and your time, you're putting it into this business. It's taking 100% to get it off the ground and to get it going. So if you don't have your spouse supporting you and doing that, I really don't see how it's going to work.
Yeah. Well, and I think for entrepreneurs, there's a natural point where you've kind of reached the pinnacle of what you're going to do for somebody else, and now it's time to do it for yourself.
Yep.
And I'm just happy that y'all reached that.
Us too, actually.
We got pushed into it, and then we accepted it.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of people that would have a self-doubt or a mindset that would keep them from doing that. And so I don't think that's by accident. I think it's partly because you have so many years of experience, so you know what you're capable of. And then I think we talked once, and you said something to the effect of, I was asking people to take a chance on me, but I wasn't willing to take a chance on me. And I think that is incredibly profound.
Yep. My motto is take a chance on yourself.
There you go. But it hasn't always been that way.
It has not.
That's
Nope.
great. That's great. So I think it just continues to prove that we are constantly working to become the person we are supposed to be. And that takes effort.
Yep.
And that takes getting uncomfortable. And it takes being accountable. And a lot of people will try not to be any of those things.
Yep.
They want somebody else to blame for it. They don't want to blame themselves. And they are in this rut. They don't want to take that action. But that's everybody's individual choice, right? I think it's one of those things, because where I really like to operate, whether we're talking about personally or in business or any of those things, I like to operate in this zone that I call selfish and selfless at the same time.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it, the most selfish thing you could possibly do is root for your teammate. And the most selfless thing that you could possibly do at the same time is root for your teammate. So, it's win-win. Like, there is never a reason why you would ever, wish a negative thing on your partner in this life.
You're right. It's again, life's too short, right?
Yeah. Or in this case, what we're talking about is painting them in a light that's unfavorable. And I think we're both incredibly fortunate, and this actually comes up in almost every episode, but it wasn't by design. But when we think about people who charge forward and people who default to leaning in when other people would give up, a lot of times it's because they have a supportive spouse.
Yep.
And so for you and Jen, what do you think, like, how important has the fact that you found each other been to your lives?
If it wasn't for Jen, I will tell you this, I wouldn't be in the seat that I am today. I wouldn't have the life that I've got today, right? So, me, I'm very, I like to take chances, or I like to take risks. Sometimes they're not good, sometimes they're great. But if it wasn't for Jen to kind of keep me anchored down at times, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. But if it wasn't for Jen, I also wouldn't be as successful as I am today, right? Because there's different challenges that we face that she's like, we need to take this opportunity and run with it, like moving back to Chattanooga. Or you're not happy in doing this day-to-day stuff. Let's look at other options. I wouldn't have the education that I've got today without Jennifer. And I think our kids aren't who they are if it wasn't for both of us. I think choosing a spouse, or me choosing Jennifer, I don't ever want to say it that way, because luckily she chose me. I didn't get to choose her. It was by luck that we met, and she picked me out of everybody. And so to me, that means more than anything at all, because I don't want to say that I picked her, because that's definitely not the choice, the answer to that.
Sure. I know you touched on this with some of the podcasts that you listen to and those types of things. As you've been growing up this business, what podcasts, who's been a part of it, like who's mentored you, like just all the things, like, who can you give a nod to that's absolutely been either game changing or a part of your growth?
Well, I'll have to say Jocko. Like, he's got a great podcast, and it seems nowadays, like you touched on before, people don't want to work. Like, that's a whole big thing. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. I don't know that your average high schooler boy knows how to change a tire, knows how to check his oil, or even knows how, like, if the battery's dead. I don't know what to do. I'm calling somebody. I mean, dude, when I was young, like, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But and I go back to Jock because he's like, his story is he wanted to be, special ops type guy, a commando. Well, the Navy SEALs, they don't give those tridents out. You've got 1 week of hell first, in the very beginning, and that weeds out everybody because but it's just the thing. Like, do the work. There's no get up. I try to get up every day at 5. I think it's like 5:02. I'm just weird, but I try to get every day at like 5:02, even Sunday. Like, try to keep that schedule. And, even if I just get up and piddle around but when you work for yourself, you have kind of a small business, you're always thinking about it, what do I need to do? And it doesn't have to be much, but every day you're kind of, I guess, keeping your finger on the pulse, maybe. And Jocko's like, all the dudes he interviews are like dudes that have, like, some are fighter pilots, some were like in Vietnam, some were POWs, but like that generation up to the cell phone and, the smartphone, there was no easy anything. Now you've got like influencers and all that stuff, and they just make videos, but that, what you see in the video or the clip or whatever they show you, that's just that's a happy moment. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people compare that to their inner feelings of how they're feeling. And that's not an equal thing. But, like, I guess I keep going back to, like, you got to get up and put your shoes on. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. I mean, people, even adults, are like, if they have a few minutes, they're on their phone, just scrolling, just looking. And, I like to look too, don't get me wrong, but, like, I got to go to work too.
Yeah. Fun. And, it just kind of goes to show that, we can't do it on our own.
No.
We need people. We need people that inspire us. We need mentors. We need the bad people too to show us what we don't want.
That's exactly right.
And they all shape us. They all get us to where we're at. I think even because you shoot your podcast out of the same studio.
That's right.
In a roundabout way. So Colby introduced you and I. Mm-hmm. I was on your podcast. Then I was on Nick's podcast, and we were talking. And he said, "I heard you were on Virgil's podcast." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, can you introduce me to Virgil?" And I said, "Absolutely. In fact, I told Virgil he needs to be doing video." And he goes, "Well, I'll have that conversation with him." And of course, now here we are.
Here we are. Oh, and that's another thing. It's like that to me, like the abundant mindset and when you have a great community of people around you and you can introduce other like-minded people and join communities together, mm-hmm. It creates a level of power because the more people that are like-minded and have positive vibes, the more you can help others.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So another huge impact on my life is Nick Hyder. Mm-hmm. Nick has been nothing but awesome for me on so many different levels. One, because he's a great baseball player and coach. I'm on golf, but I played a lot of baseball. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of commonalities. He's a baseball player who loves golf. Mm-hmm. I'm a golfer who loves baseball. And then we have the similar growth mindset. We have a similar belief in pushing all bounds to how great we can be. And he's no different. Like, hey, I'm just Nick Hyder, minor league baseball player. But that dude is such a great entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And he makes anybody believe that if I can do it, you can do it. Mm-hmm. And we need more people like that. So Nick is one of the greatest additives to my life recently, for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm selfishly, I love the energy, just like you. I love the energy that gets created. Nothing gets taken away. It's not taken away. It just adds to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there are definitely people that take from you. There's takers in this world. Yep. There's people that are neutral. There's people that inspire you to be better or that you're better with, Mm-hmm. And the more great people, more great attitudes you can put around you, just I think it's like rocket fuel for your existence.
Yeah, it's contagious, and the more contagion we can have in greatness,
Yep.
It's one of those things, like even the smallest pebble thrown into the ocean creates a ripple.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're like, well, I can't make as big of an impact as Michael Jordan can, it doesn't make a difference. That if you feel like you're a little pebble, you're still going to make a ripple in the ocean. And if you can make a positive change in just one person's life, you've changed the world. And most people don't recognize that until they do it. And then whether I've impacted 1 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 is completely irrelevant to me, because it only took one.
Yeah.
It only took one to change my life.
Well, and you bringing up another good point there. I love this conversation is, so much today has been watered down by us not keeping score, by us not talking about somebody won and somebody lost and what you need to do, what you need to fix. So that's one reason why I love the coaching aspect, the sports aspect, those types of things. But it plays right into your career. Like,
it does. And, anything you do outside of bowling, golf, even then there's a team concept at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was basketball. So, you can't hide. When there's 5 people on the floor, it's hard to hide. And if you're not any good and they have to hide you, you're not going to play.
That's right.
So you have to continually fight for a spot, which is something I love. And then when you get into the real world, it's like you said, people, like, if they haven't done it, it's hard to learn older, right?
Yeah.
You have to go through that trial by fire. You have to understand. You have to lose. You have to go 5-21 in your first year to say, what's the problem? And then I went 6-20. Hey, I improved a game. And then I went 7 wins the third year, and I thought, okay, this is insanity. I haven't changed anything. I keep thinking that the players are going to change. They're going to change the outcome, but it was the coach the whole time. It was me. Mm-hmm. And until I learned that valuable lesson, I wouldn't be sitting here with you today.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all because of failure. So the first thing that we teach at the SE is fail often and fail forward. Mm-hmm. If you're not learning through your failures, it's insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, I think that's one of those things that's lost in a lot of households, and I'm going to put this back on the parents, is they're so quick to remove pain from the situation that the kid never learns how to deal with it. And so then that's where we end up with, 20-year-olds that can't hold a job or can't make it through school because they can't handle somebody holding them accountable.
I think about this all the time. As a father of 3, I have failed miserably. I'm hoping by the third one, by the time he gets old enough that he can, maybe I have learned my lesson like coaching, right? It's nothing gets you ready for fatherhood. My father told me all the way through, one day, son, you'll understand. Mm-hmm. One day, son, you'll understand. I'm like, whatever. And now I'm like, he's so right. Here we are. And I try to raise our children with failure in mind.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay to fail. Mm-hmm. Okay, what'd we do wrong? Now, as we go back, when you approach this scenario again, and we have helicopter parents this day that, that just at all costs comfort them and shield them from failures and the teachable moments of that. It's not fun. Nobody wants to do it, specifically with athletics, with your own children.
Yeah.
Do you live vicariously through your children, or do you back up and say they're their own person? Either they got to want it themselves, and if they fail or don't make the team, there's lessons involved in that.
Yeah.
Don't complain about your playing time. What have you done to change it?
That's right. Well, so along those same lines, who would you say, other than your mom, has been a great mentor along the way?
Oh my gosh, my granddad, Keith English, might just be my favorite person in the world. It's the person I look up to most. He went through a lot of hardships when he was younger, but he's an entrepreneur. He's very much into self-help. Like, he met Zig Ziglar, and he does
that's awesome.
Right? Is that not so cool? And he does his morning affirmations, and he's probably like the most generous and kind and hardworking person I know. And oh my gosh, he loves our family so much. That's my mom's dad. And I don't know, he just sets a great example for what I want to be in life. And he gave me his collection of self-help books, which there's 6 of us grandkids, and we all, like, about half of us own our own businesses.
Okay.
And it's just all him. He's the one who inspired us to do that, and he's so awesome. I look up to him a lot. He's also the busiest busybody you've ever met. Like, he's 80. I think for his 70 or 75th birthday, he took a video of him, like, jumping from the floor onto a 3-foot stool. We're like, that's cool that you can do that, but please don't. But he's awesome. He never wants to sit down. He's still doing his thing, and yeah, I look up to him so much.
That's fantastic. I think one of the things that we always try to do here is we try to have an action item, something that somebody could take, that you have kind of fine-tuned through your 30 years of doing mortgages, a best practice or something that almost anybody could take that nugget and plug it into their life and make their life better. What do you think something that you would classify as that would be?
Yeah, I think it goes back to a little bit what we were talking about with kids, because I think it applies to anyone. I think just, reaching out, I think it's particular into mortgages. I tell people all the time, just have the conversation, and it kind of all the aspects of my life lead back to just having the conversation. If I need to talk to somebody about how I'm struggling, what I'm going through in life, it's really hard to solve it by yourself. I mean, you can spend time, you can reflect, you can have, inner thoughts, and you can, talk to yourself and that kind of stuff. But I think reaching out to somebody and just having a conversation, whether it's you're going through a rough time or there's something you want to do in life. Mm-hmm. I'm really big, and I've told my kids 1,000 times too, there's something you want to do in life, find somebody that's done it. Mm-hmm. Talk to them. Or, call somebody that's expert in that field. When it comes to mortgages, if you want to buy a home, you don't have to go buy it tomorrow, but talk to somebody and see how to get on track to get there. I just think communication is so huge, and through the years I've learned more and more. The only way to find out about anything is to ask somebody about it. I mean, you've got to ask somebody. Yeah. And if you can, like I said, if you know somebody that's where you want to go, that's the best place to start.
Yeah. Because they've been through it.
Yeah. And they're going to have the best advice to tell you how to get started and help you learn it. So, from the smallest thing to the largest thing, I think the best thing you can do is just reach out and be open-minded about it. If that's really where you want to go or what you need help with, you can find it. You've just got to be willing to be open-minded and be open to it.
Yeah. Well, they can't help you if you don't ask for the help.
Absolutely.
They're not mind readers.
Yeah. I've got so many things, because I'm, in my 50s now, so many things that I wish I would have asked somebody sooner. So that's why I think that's the first step is, I learned a whole lot of that process through our grief and through losing Ryan, was how much you need other people. Mm-hmm. I was, through high school, college age, all that kind of stuff, I was very quiet, didn't talk to a lot of people, and really just didn't share hardly any thoughts. I was really bad about keeping everything inside. Mm-hmm. And I learned through Stacy, through what we went through with Ryan, about how much just being open and talking to people. I mean, I kind of fell into sales almost 30 years ago into mortgages, and people that I went to high school are like, dude, I can't believe when I see a video of you talking, like you barely, said a word in high school. Like you just did your thing, didn't barely talk to anybody. And it's such a more healthy, enjoyable experience in life, sharing it with other people. Mm-hmm. So just, opening your mind and being able to reach out and talk to people has been huge for me.
Yeah, absolutely. When you started out, obviously, Mr. Harris had a depth, being an attorney, being a professor, all those things. So obviously he helped you in this world of becoming a CPA. But what else, what other mentors have you had in your life?
So I have had several mentors in my life. Tom Harris was one of those. He was a brilliant man, knew all about taxes. Now, he mentored me in a way that I don't think he realized, and that was in work-life balance, because he had none. Mm-hmm. His goal was to die with his hand on a calculator, leaned over a tax return. That is not my goal.
Sure.
And so I saw that in him. My father has been a huge part of mentoring me because, like I said, I grew up in the family of entrepreneurs. And so my mother and father, when we sat around the dinner table at night, we talked about issues, or they talked about, and we listened, issues with employees, issues with bankers, how to get financing, how to promote this product. And so as young girls, me and my sisters, we're learning more than we really realized we were doing, which has served us so well. And then, you know, your dad is probably your biggest cheerleader, or at least mine was. And he made me feel like Tiger Woods on the golf course, which I'm mediocre at best would be the way to describe that. But he always helped instill confidence in me, but was able to critique me and to help me be better in business. And one of the things that he told me when I became a CPA and was opening my own firm, I said, Daddy, what should I do? Like, what as a business owner would you want your accountant to do? And he said, we know you're smart. You've got CPA after your name. You've gone to college. You passed that test, which is very, very hard to pass. So you don't need to talk down to me. You don't need to talk over my head. You need to talk to me in ways I can understand my business and help me be better. And so that was a huge thing that he instilled in me, is speak to your client in terms that they can understand, because they need to walk away from your office, from that tax return, from that meeting, and understand why they owe the IRS, why they're getting a refund, why their quarter was down or up this year or this season. So I think that is a huge part of it. And then I've also had several business owners in my community and in Middle Tennessee, bankers as well, just kind of take me under their wing and help me find financing for clients, or help me find other strategies to be in business. And I'm grateful for all the people that have poured into me, and that's why I think it is so important for me to do likewise.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can say, I want to go do something.
Yeah, and we hope you do. Our goal is to get women into the outdoors safely and have the knowledge, and then a friend group that'll do it. So if you're brand new to, say, paddleboarding, you can post in there, hey, I'm thinking about getting a paddleboard. What do y'all think? And you'll have 15 people that'll tell you, hey, this is what worked for me as a lady. This one's lighter to carry or easier to manage, or, you know, whatever they're looking for. So it's been cool to watch that kind of mentorship happen organically.
Right. And they're really just, they're trying to help somebody. And let's be real. I mean, we all like to talk about ourselves.
For sure. Yeah.
And so them sharing their experience is making them more connected to the group, which is also helping somebody else out.
For sure.
And they don't feel like, oh, I'm this weird person that wants to do this. Nobody else does it. Just because nobody in your subdivision or in your circle does it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Yes. And something unique kind of about our events is there's not an age demographic. We have everyone that, you know, is coming out of high school all the way to ladies that are retired and have to coordinate their babysitting of their grandchildren's schedule to come play with us. And we're all shooting the big guns. Doesn't matter. And you don't have to have any knowledge. We won't speak gun at you. We don't expect you to know anything. You come in and then we'll walk you through what you need to know.
Yeah. Really one of those environments where you meet them where they are.
For sure. So, and we try to demystify this stuff. You know, hunting has been kind of a club for a long time. And if you're not in it, you ain't in it. So we try to demystify, and we have great partners, the TWRA, the Tennessee Wildlife Federation, so many guys across the board that'll help us out and help us learn, because I don't know either. I'm not the expert. I'm not a turkey hunter. I don't know. Yeah. I'm right there learning with them. So it's been cool. We've learned a lot.
Team, is Jim Cripps here with the Charge Forward podcast. I just want to tell you, I love you. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you for subscribing and sharing the Charge Forward podcast with people you know and you love, because that's what we're here for. We are here to share the amazing stories, the things that people have been through, the ways that they were able to improve their life, so that you can take little nuggets from theirs and help improve your story and be better tomorrow than you were today. I hope that this is the tool you needed at the right time, and that you find value in the amazing guests that we bring each and every week. Thanks so much, and don't forget, new episodes drop every Thursday.